Welcome back to the Better Every Day podcast, where we are unlocking our best self one episode at a time. My name is David Garcia, and this is my beautiful wife and co-host, Grace Garcia.
Hello.
It has been a minute since you guys have seen us. All I'm going to say is life has been lifing. Since you last saw us, we went to Puerto Rico. We celebrated this one's 30th birthday. She is now in the 30s. She's no longer in the 20s. We celebrated our baby girl's birthday, and we did this whole princess makeover thing. And a couple of days ago, I ran the Rose Bowl half marathon, which was a great experience. And so, I don't want to say we dropped the ball, but we took a little hiatus, a little rest, a little time for us to just let life be life. So yeah, that's the update on us. How do you feel being 30 now?
It feels good.
Yeah.
I think I'm entering into a new season where I'm fine-tuning what I don't need to bring into this new season and who I want to become, and taking the proper steps, try not to let excuses stop me, but becoming who I think I am or who I want to be. And so, yeah, it feels good so far.
What are those things that you were not trying to bring into your 30s?
Yeah, the making excuses part.
Okay.
The messiness.
Like house messiness is what you're talking about.
Yeah, the house
Okay.
messiness, procrastination, just more organized.
Okay. So just more of what you've been practicing in the last little bit then.
Yeah, I feel like the end of my 20s, I've been getting kind of better at it, but I'm putting like a stamp or making it more stricter.
Yeah.
I've been doing the bed every single day, trying to not have anything on the floor, trying to just clean up after myself, using a calendar for quite a while, and I now anytime something happens, I'm like, oh, I have to put my calendar, my task, my to-do list, like just more organized. I signed up for Pilates. That's one class.
What do you call yourself now?
Pilates mommy.
You were so excited for it.
Scheduled physical therapy. Well, that's been starting where I did my wisdom teeth removal, having to schedule my jaw doctor appointment.
You're just getting your life together, huh?
Yeah, I have to sleep with the night guard. Gonna start physical therapy for my diastasis recti. Just trying to take care of myself.
That's good. That's good.
Going on walks more with the kids.
Yeah.
Trying to make that a priority. And yeah.
Nice. And how was the Puerto Rico trip for you?
It was awesome, but I think we made an episode after Puerto Rico, babe.
Did we?
I think so.
I don't think so.
We've only been gone for 2 weeks.
What?
Yes. But just in case, we did it. I'm pretty sure we did. Puerto Rico was awesome. I think for me it was definitely a conflict of emotions, bittersweet. I definitely cried a lot because so many times I was I wish I had my mom to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the food. I'm I wish I could call her. The music, I wish I could call her. And so that was definitely tough, but I was happy that I'm seeing where she's from, the culture. I loved perfect temperature, visiting my grandpa. Also brought a floodgate of emotions that I kind of expected, but once it hit, I was oh my goodness. And yeah, I loved it. It was great.
It was is it safe to say that it was kind of a dream of yours to go to Puerto Rico?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So it's safe to say that I make dreams come true?
Yes. We can say you made my dream come true.
Yeah. So the last couple of weeks have been pretty great, I'd say. And then, like I was saying, we celebrated our little girl's birthday. It was a little bit late, yeah. Just because we did have a plan to go to Disney really close to her birthday, but then it rained, and so we rescheduled. And we really wanted to do the whole Disney princess makeover, which was it was worth it. I mean, we're not sponsored or anything, but I mean,
How'd you feel?
if you have a little girl, hey, go do it. Like, it's worth it. It's about like $200, right? $215, depending on the dress that you pick. But I mean, the whole process, like they make that little girl feel magical. And then as you see her get ready and stuff, like I was just like picturing like one day this is gonna be her prom and one day this is gonna be her wedding, and I'm just like, oh man, like
You got emotional.
oh yeah.
And that's why you didn't want to see the process. You're like, oh, I'll come back. And it's just like, no.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were gonna do.
stay.
But no, I'm glad that I saw it. It was really nice, and to see her like really, I mean, I think there's a specific age, and like I think the age that we took her is a good age, and maybe in a couple of years we'll take her again, just because right now we're at like, oh, will she remember? Will she not remember? But she bought into the whole process. Like it was like she was in a magical kingdom, you know. So that was great. And then a couple of days ago I did the Rose Bowl marathon which was awesome. I did it with a couple of guys, and
You broke a personal record.
I broke a personal record. I didn't reach quite the goal that I wanted to reach, but man, the Rose Bowl has a lot of inclines, so it was going to be kind of hard to reach that goal. But hey, in the last,
you were seconds off.
yeah, I was less than a minute off of my goal, and Lord knows I tried. I busted my butt in the last 3 miles trying to get that goal.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience. I'm falling more and more in love with running, which I love. Just signed up for the Long Beach Full Marathon, which will be my first marathon ever.
That's crazy.
And honestly, with all this talks and stuff, like it's kind of inspired me to like, oh, like maybe I should start a running social media. And honestly, like, because I see a lot of people, and a lot of people, like a lot of normal people, like you have those freak athletes that have their Instagram, and people are like, all right, buddy, like you live for this. But then you have like the normal people that have like a normal job, and they still find the running, and you see their process, and people really buy into that. And I'm just like, oh, maybe I could do that. Maybe I could inspire somebody. And honestly, like, I'm not going to lie, it'd be cool to get a following, and then also have like these companies just give me like free shoes and like entries to races that I wouldn't have otherwise gotten into. So I'm thinking about it, you know. I'm debating it. I'm doing a trial run, and we'll see how it is.
3 times a day?
I did. No, I don't think I would do that, but I did try a trial run today of, you know, like getting out of work, coming into the house, getting ready or whatever. And I'm just like, holy smokes, like to do this every day.
Multiple times a day. To grow, you have to do it multiple times a day.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Yeah. And that's why I want to do a trial run to see if I really want to do it, if I'm willing to do all that work or not.
No one wants to really want to do it until you see that first paycheck.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that leads us to today's episode. We are glad to be back. We're glad to be doing another episode. I don't know if you guys thought that the Better Everyday podcast was over, but it definitely is not over. It will never be over. We're going until we're 85.
Talking about what's the secret to life.
Yeah.
To happiness at 90.
Imagine 85. We're still doing this and telling everybody what we've gone through, all the stories that we have. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
But today I wanted to talk about a very important a topic. And I've been thinking about this topic for a while. And it has to do with, I always say there's a beauty that at the same time sometimes is the ugly part of life. It's beautiful, it's amazing, but at times you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to put up with this. And what I'm talking about is dealing with people. It's beautiful sometimes to deal with people, to accomplish things with people, to work as a team with people, to strive for something with people, to be in relationship with people. But at the same time, there are times where you're just like, I don't want to be around people. These people are annoying me. I don't know if we're going to be able to work well together. And so it's a two-sided coin for sure. But what I really wanted to talk about is people skills, the power of people skills, how important that is. Because I don't know what you think about when you think about people skills, but what I think about is people skills can relate to a marriage. So it's just one person that you really have to deal with. People skills can be in the workplace. So now you're dealing with various people and people with different authorities. Various people skills can be in a church setting, again, with teams. People skills can be in a soccer team or a sports team. It could just be in friendship. And it is very, very important for us to have people skills. And I think that there are some people that go, screw people. I don't care. I don't care what they feel. I don't care what they say. I don't care what their opinions are. I'm going to do me. I'm going to be authentically me. I'm just going to do whatever. And whoever stays is cool. And whoever doesn't. And it is what it is, but there are other people kind of like you that are people pleasers. And they go, hey, I'm going to bend over backwards to make everybody happy,
So the first one was you and the second one is
Yeah,
me?
I guess so. Yeah.
We're just defining it.
And so I think it's so important because I think we have enough stories, me and you, to say people skills have come in clutch for us because we have seen doors open that otherwise wouldn't have been open without having certain relationships. Right? One that I can think of right off the bat is the time that I had to go to Vancouver. And so I don't know if we've said the whole story, but the short version is I'm in the process of getting the fiance visa to be able to move over here. Me and you are engaged. And part of the fiance visa is I have to get a full medical. There's only 3 doctors in all of Canada that can do the physical. One is in Vancouver. The other one is in Toronto. And I forget where the other one is, Quebec or something like that. And I choose, I'm going to go to Vancouver. Don't have a lot of money. Barely could afford the plane ticket, stayed in a hostel. If you guys don't know what a hostel is, Google it. It's
Ghetto.
Yeah. Well, it's not ghetto, but it's
Sketchy.
it's less than a motel. Like it's not ghetto. It's safe, but you're just in bunk beds with strangers. Okay. Anyways, I go out there and I remember I called you. I'm like, hey, could you ask your dad if he knows anybody out here? Like, I'm going to be here over the weekend. I'd love to go to church here at least. Oh yeah, sure. Let me make a couple calls. Get a couple calls. The story gets a little weird because your dad didn't really know the pastor they told me to go. He knew a pastor of a pastor that knew that pastor. Long story short, I ended up going there, get hugely blessed with things that I never even asked for. And that from the point of like me talking to you and asking you, can you ask your dad? That's people skills. People skills, what it does is it's basically helps you network, right? And to the point where I'm meeting these new people. Like if you don't have people skills and you're meeting these new people, like it's the difference between a door being opened or a door being closed.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have the right people skills, then they would have been like, who the heck is this guy? Whatever, like, see ya, like, bye. And that story wouldn't have been what it was. But with the grace of God, with the favor of God, and, with God allowing me to be who he made me to be, like, I had enough people skills to be able to have a beautiful story come out of that whole situation.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like I said, and there's other people that, even in that situation, they go, I am who I am. I'm going to be bold wherever I go. And so that's basically what I want to talk about today is people skills and how important it is. What does it look like? What does it mean? When people struggle with people skills, why is it that people like we struggle with it? And so, let's start with you. Do you have a story that you could think of where, people skills came in clutch for you?
feel like I probably can come up with a lot of stories. And I think a lot of them, how you said, it's in the workplace. And maybe because those are obvious, right? Like you want something, you see it out of reach, and then you're surprised you get it. And for sure, you need God's favor, number one. Like if it's not in the will of God, it won't happen. But I do believe it can be God's favor, and then it's up to us to walk into it or not. And then part of that walking into it is, are we using the gifts and the wisdom that He's given us, right? And that's part of our people skills. I think when I can think of this, what got me my career today, which again, I'm so blessed to be in the district I'm in. It's like, I didn't even know it was coveted before I applied. I didn't even know it was one of the best. I was just like, I need to get out of my old school. Like I was just like looking for any which way out of there. And I remember, usually I don't really remember introductions, but I remember that specific one because I was like proud of myself. I was like, ooh, I did like a firm handshake, looked him in the eye, asked a question, and it stood out to him that, because we did make small talk, that I was from Biola. And he really liked me. He called me like same day. And I remember he just like was very fond of me, and I of him. He's a great man of God and stuff. And so, but I think just how they say first impression is everything. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have gotten the job I did and be happy with teaching, fallen in love with teaching. Realize that teaching could be so much better than it is. And it's all because of that introduction, that small talk. I guess those people skills that set me apart from other candidates. Because I remember going into orientation where there's so many other new teachers from the district, and them asking me like, how many years have you been trying to get in? I'm like, years. I just applied like last week. Like I didn't know about this. And I know for sure it was the grace of God, but also, again, it's so important how you present yourself, how people feel about you. Like they always say, people are not going to remember what you said. They're going to remember how you made them feel.
Right.
And yeah, I don't remember exactly what was said, but I remember like it was such a great encounter. And so people were trying for like years and years. But again, I think it does go a huge way. Just that first introduction.
What are let's say characteristics, or what is a good definition of people skills to you?
I think it's how you make others feel, how you carry yourself, and I'm trying to think of like a smart way to say it, but just like, because first part of it's about them, right? How you make them feel. That second part is how you carry yourself,
right?
But then it's how both moving pieces work together, like how the vibes are. So that's what I'd say it is. How about you?
Yeah, I would add like empathy is part of it. Being an active listener, that's super important, especially now.
That's what it looks like, right? That's like then instant nitty-gritty. Like, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, and just because that listener part, the bar has been set so low that if you're just a great listener, you're already like above and beyond many people. So having great communication, emotional intelligence, and conflict resolution. So the listener part, I think listening goes so far with people.
Yeah.
Like for you to actually listen to somebody, pick something up, maybe even find common ground and start talking about it, right then and there. Like people's moods can change from bad to good just with somebody being a good listener. Maybe you listen to something that somebody said and days later, I don't know, something popped up. Maybe they said like, oh, hey, I've been having a hard day. I wish I could have a Starbucks. And 3 days later, somebody shows up, or the person that you were talking to shows up with a Starbucks, and just like, oh, they were listening. That means so much to me. They made me feel seen. They made me feel heard. That goes so far with people. The conflict resolution is a very interesting one because, go ahead.
Oh, before you move on, do you remember when someone made you feel like that, like, wow, they really care because they listened? Like, can you remember?
I'm sure there is, but
Not at the top of your head.
not at the top of my head, no. And I'm like, maybe I'm being a... Okay, don't let my memory make me like out to be somebody who doesn't appreciate like when that happens, because I do really appreciate when that happens. But right now I just don't remember.
Yeah, you just put on the spot. It's like a brain fart. When
Yeah.
You're just like, oh.
Yeah. But with conflict resolution, that's very important to have people skills. That's one of the toughest tests for you to see, like, do you have people skills? And in the Bible, it says, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, sometimes way harder said than done. Mm-hmm. Especially like, let's say, for example, me and you, we're fighting. I love you. No matter what, I love you. No matter what, I love you. Through thick and thin, I love you. But sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's really hard to like tap into the I love her no matter what. And don't make that face, because I mean you're in the same boat. But conflict resolution, to be able to have emotional intelligence in those moments of conflict and be like, hey, how can I resolve this where we can do this in a civil manner, where we're not going to get out of hand, and could be in a marriage, again, in a friendship, in a workplace, in an organizational setting, in whatever, church setting, it doesn't matter. Conflict resolution, that's part of people skills.
Yeah.
And again, that's either going to burn the bridge or it's going to reinforce the bridge. Because here's the thing. A lot of times in conflict, pride reigns. And if you could be strong enough to kill the pride and let humility reign, you're definitely reinforcing that bridge.
Yeah.
Because again, the bar for humility has been set so low that if you show that humility, people get shocked and just like, who is this dude? Who is this person? And what is it that drives this person to like do that, right? It brings down walls, it brings down guards, it shows somebody like this person is not a threat, like they're actually willing to work, and especially in the last couple of years where everyone's so prideful in their stance of, let's say, government or government policy, just like you're either right or you're left, there's nothing in the middle, like these people fight these people are dumb, no, these people are dumb. And again, the bar has been set so low that if you just show a little humility, let's find some common ground, like it's rare. It's really rare. But it is very important, because in a conflict resolution where you have great emotional intelligence and you have good people skills, the conflict resolution is not about me winning or you winning. It's about how do we win as a team.
Yeah.
Right. And again, marriage, organization, work, whatever. Like if you're in a dispute with your boss, like in the end, what you want to do if you're an employee and you're having a conflict with the boss and you want to stay at that company and you want to have a good relationship with your boss, what do? You make that boss believe, and we'll get to the next step after, but believe that you want the company as a whole to win. It's not just about you. It's not just about him. Like, yes, we all want raises. Yeah, we can fight for a raise, but sometimes when you're fighting for a raise, it becomes all about you and how does the company benefit? So how do you say, I have value to give you. I believe I deserve more. I can give you all these things, which will in turn be more profitable to you as a company, as a boss. You're going to make more money, and I can make more money too. We all win.
Yeah.
Now that I'm talking about that, it reminds me of this episode of The Office where they're doing conflict resolution, and
With the phone?
No. This wasn't with the phone, but Michael was doing this thing where it's just like there's like three different scenarios. There's a win-lose, there's a win-win-lose or there's a win-win-win or whatever. He's like, you know what, we'll be okay with the win-lose or whatever. It was dumb, but the point is that it's very important for you to have, you know, those skills. It's very important. Like it's especially if, let's say in that same company, you want to move up. You don't want to be an employee. One day you want to be a manager. You want to have those people skills to be able to have a good relationship with the people who can promote you. Mm-hmm. If you don't have that, then if you're seen as the person that is not likable, that isn't approachable, that isn't coachable, that isn't teachable, like if you don't have all those things, I'm sorry, like no matter how good you think you are, you're never going to get promoted.
Yeah.
So it takes the people skills. It takes the conversation. I do care about what you're saying. Let's talk about this.
Right? Yeah. And in a conflict resolution, I do feel, though there's some times, and I don't know if you would agree or disagree, where you can do your part, but they also have to be good at people's skills too and like come into the middle. Would you agree?
You're saying it takes two to tango, basically.
Yeah. Like there's certain situations where it's like, okay, there's only so much you can do. In a conflict resolution, like they would need to want to too.
Yeah, of course. I was sitting in a class one of these days, and it was what was it, a marriage and leadership or something like that?
Marriage and family.
Yeah. So marriage and family. And the person teaching the class was asking, you know, the students, I think they were talking about the 4 horsemen. You know, there's contempt. Oh, man, I forget. Stonewalling, defensiveness, and I forget what the other one was. And the teacher was just like, hey, like, what do you think you are? And most people were defensive, right? Mm. And he asked, so why are you defensive? And they said, well, I think that the moment that we get into an argument, this other person is going to start attacking me. So I get on the defense, right? And thinking about that and what you just said, I think most people have that approach. They're very defensive because they automatically feel like they are going to get attacked or they are being attacked already, you know? And it takes people skills. Again, it takes emotional intelligence. It takes wisdom. It takes patience. It takes love to be able to have a conversation and make that person realize I'm not here to attack you. And I think, again, with how at least American culture has been in the last little bit, like people get defensive super easily because you can't talk about anything because everything's an argument. Everything. Like, I don't know, like you I saw some people arguing recently that Katy Perry went to space or something like that, and somebody called her an astronaut, and I saw a bunch of like messages just like, she's not an astronaut, she is an astronaut, like what qualifies you to be an astronaut, and blah blah blah. Like people fight about everything. And so I can understand why people get so defensive. And that's where, like us, people that are actually thinking about this, you guys, the listeners as well, hopefully you guys are having conversations at home after this episode, but people who are actually intentional about being a better person, I believe it says in the Bible, like the more that you know, the more responsible you are. That's basically what the gist of that Bible verse is. And so as you're listening to this, I want you to know that responsibility is being bestowed upon you because you're listening to this and you're getting the wisdom of, hey, even if this person seems very defensive, like I'm going to still have the stance of humility. I'm going to have the stance of I'm going to listen to you. I'm not just going to sit here and speak. And I'm going to try my best to break the wall of defense to be able to make you realize I want both of us to win.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, I mean, me and you have been in situations, I don't remember exactly like the situations, but I know that there's been situations where, let's say either you're stonewalling and I do something where you're just like, oh, that's not usually what he does. And you kind of like thrown off, but then it kind of like brings down your guards, and same thing. There's times where I'm stonewalling, you do certain things and I'm just like, that's not how she usually acts. And so it brings my walls down, and we ended up like having a conversation or just having reconciliation, right? And so I think that's a very important part. And if you guys haven't read that book, Emotional Intelligence 2.0, that's a very good book about all this. But yeah, I just feel like it's so important because so many people want so many things, right? Let's say in marriage, I want a great marriage. What does it take? Part of it is people skills. In work, I want to be promoted. I want better pay. What does it take? Part of it, people skills.
Yeah.
In church, I want to have a better opportunity. I want to be able, I know that I can lead certain people. What does it take? Guess what? People skills. Like, name any other scenario. And the gist of what I'm trying to say in that is there's some people that walk around because of wounds, because I was one of those people. Because of wounds, you walk around thinking, I don't need people. I'll never need people. I'm fine if this person is my friend. I'm fine if this person is my girlfriend. But if they end up leaving, I'll be fine. I'm completely fine. I don't need people. Like, I can have people around. That's nice. But if they're not around, I'm fine. And guess what? No, you're not fine. Yes, you do need people. You'll always need people. Since the day you were born, you needed people. Until the day you die, you will need people. And so it is very important for you to break down that bride, work on that wound, and come to a realization, hopefully quickly, that you need to work on those people skills. Because people skills is part of, I believe, people skills is part of what God uses to open up doors for you.
For sure.
Like I said, in that Vancouver trip, had I not had people skills, had I not had the favor of God, that story would have been completely different. Completely different.
And I think how you said, like, it's God's original design for us to work that way. And I think it connects, right? God's favor and people skills, because part of having the Holy Spirit and part of the fruit, it's like people skills, right? Like gentleness, there's self-control, there's kindness, there's faithfulness, like all of those aspects of the fruit of the Holy Spirit not only give you the Holy Spirit, which gives you more favor and more grace in places that you walk through, but there's things that you need with people. Like there's things that will only develop if you are around people, that you can only grow and be challenged and see what you're made of when you're around people. So I don't think it's a coincidence that those with more people skills have more favor. Yes.
And with people skills, I would say, again, going back to that verse, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. It is very important for that love to be genuine love and not artificial love. Because
I think people could tell.
Yes.
Like kids could tell. I feel like it's just obvious.
People have BS meters and they could tell real quick, like, nah, there's something off with this person. Like they're saying all the right things, they're acting the right way, but there's something off about this person.
Yeah.
And I don't want you guys to twist any of the words that we're saying. Like, people skills is not meant for you to manipulate situations for you to get what you want, to not use people as stepping stones to get what you want. Like that is completely not the point.
Yeah.
The point is to love thy neighbor, and to love them means to care for them, to care about what they're saying, to care about what they feel, to build that bridge between you and that person. And again, for both of you guys to have a win-win situation, right? So it is very important for it to be genuine. Okay. If it's not genuine, people will realize it quickly, and they will quickly, and that's because in the times that we're in, they will quickly label you, let other people know, and then you're put in a not so great category.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, that person's just looking to get up the ranks. Like, hey, that's up to you if you want to work with them, but that person is not genuine at all. Like that person is going to use you and then done.
Yeah.
You know, and so it is very important for you guys to be genuine, to truly care about people. And just quickly, if it's hard for you to care about other people, maybe it's because it's hard for you to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, it's hard for you to love other people genuinely. So if that's you, I would say work on that part.
Yeah.
Loving yourself. Everybody's process looks different. So if you do need help with that, we would suggest you guys find like a Christian therapist or any therapist really that can help you work out through those feelings, help you love yourself, and then you can then generally care for other people.
Yeah. And I think in the beginning, it for sure will feel a little bit awkward or a little bit artificial just because, especially if you haven't done it or practiced it for a while, it might feel like fake or disingenuine because it's a new language for you. It's a new setting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think also feel free to like, okay, it's going to be awkward for a bit or it might feel disingenuous. But if you have the right heart and if you keep trying, I think that will shine and be more noticeable. But I would say in the beginning, like practice, and it's going to feel weird if you're not used to it.
100%. And then I have a question, and we could talk about this, but I'm going to ask you first, and then we can unfold it from there. Let's talk about the challenges of people skills. Let's talk about a certain person that says, why am I going to care for other people when nobody cares about me? What do you hear when you hear that?
I hear her automatically. Like someone did something to them, and so they put this huge wall up. That's what I hear.
And then if that person, you heard that person, let's say they're somewhat of a close friend of yours, what would you say to them if they were vulnerable with you and they said that?
Well, I feel like I'd have to be careful because they would automatically be put on, how you said, on the defensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can just imagine that conversation. Yeah, like me trying to tread lightly, like not wanting them to. It's like a trigger, right? So you're kind of, you don't know where the bomb is, and if you feel like if you press a certain button, like, push. That's how I see it. And so, I think ask questions, right? Like, when was the last time you saw that happen in your life, or you know, what did you do? I mean, it kind of sounds like she's supposed to too, right? Like, ooh, what happened? Tell me what person did this to you.
Yeah.
But I think obviously even those type of questions, you can tell if it's just, if people are asking just for the sake of good gossip or like, ooh, you know, I want to know. Or if it's like what happened? Like, I want to know. I care for your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to resolve this. And so, yeah, I think ask questions so that they don't feel attacked and they can put those walls down. They know that you care. And then hopefully, I honestly think though with those people, it's going to take time for them to even trust you, right? Like, because they already have a misconception kind of labeled as like people just don't care. And so it's going to take time. And hopefully when they see my friendship, you're talking about me, that they're like, okay, like she's legit, like she cares about me, like she's there. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a tough situation. Just because you want to instill hope in that person, right? Mm-hmm. That there are good people out there. But the reality is the chances are very high that they're going to get let down all over again.
Yeah.
And so how do you give them hope with also being real with them? Mm-hmm. You know, like how do you tell them, hey, there are some people that really care about you, you know? And I believe that you can have genuinely beautiful relationships with people. But if you continue to close the door towards people, you'll never be able to see. Kind of like telling them like, hey, you're going to have to take a chance.
Yeah.
And also kind of tell them like, hey, you're going to have to do unto others what you want done unto you. And maybe you got to be the first one to take that step. Mm-hmm. And what comes to mind when I think about that is, I just think about Jesus really. And it's a tough pill to swallow because you tell this person that's going through this hurt, do unto others how you want it to be done unto you. Kind of like you got to be the first one, even if you've been in pain, even if you've been hurt, even if you feel like people just keep hurting you over and over again. You kind of just telling this person like, keep trying. Mm-hmm. And then you think about like Jesus, it's just like Jesus carried a cross.
Yeah.
He went through all this stuff. Like, he got tortured. He got ridiculed. He got hit. He got ripped up. Like, he got crucified. He got all, like, people calling him names. Like, and to the very end, he goes, hey, forgive them, God. They don't know what they're doing, you know? And it's hard to say, but sometimes we're going to have to continue taking that leap of faith. And we might go through a whole lot of hurt before we see what we've been dreaming to see.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's really tough because people are going to let us down. And usually the people that get to the point where they go, why am I going to care for people when nobody cares about me? Those people tend to be people that jump on hope hard. And they know themselves. And that's why they close the door so hard. Because they know if I crack this door just a little bit,
yeah,
I know I'm going to get overly excited. I'm going to bust that door open. I'm going to jump on hope and think everything's rainbows and butterflies. And I know I'm going to get let down. And I don't know how to handle that. You know, and it still comes down to like a past wound, obviously.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes it's our parents. Sometimes it's friendships. Sometimes it's boyfriends or girlfriends back in the day. But something crossed you over the edge where you're like, I'm never doing this again.
That's good.
But those are people that they want a beautiful relationship or beautiful relationships. They're just so deathly afraid. They're afraid of getting hurt. They're afraid of themselves because they feel naive. They feel like they believe it all. It's almost like that verse that talks about love. Like, you believe it all. You're just like, you jump in full force, you know, and just like you get hurt. Just like, whoa, I need to stop doing this, you know? And I guess I'm somewhat talking about experience because I feel like, yeah, there was a shift in my life where I'm like, I'm not doing this ever again.
Yeah.
You know? But I would say to those people, we're just going to have to continue taking those leaps of faith and believing that we are going to see what we've been dreaming of seeing for so long. And the one thing that I'm grateful for, and I guess I'm going too far into my story, but the one thing I'm grateful for is you. Because you have been part of that, seeing what I've been dreaming to see. You know, and it didn't start off like that, but it's turned into that, you know? And so through my story, you can see that it can happen, you know? And this is not to say that when you find a relationship like that you will never feel how you felt before. Because I will be open, there are times where me and you have conflicts where I feel like I felt like before. And just like, nobody's going to have my back. Everyone's going to let me down. This sucks. I was better off alone. Like, I just roll down this hill. And these are just narratives, you know, that I'm trying to grab onto to make sense of what's happening, to make you out to be the bad guy, you know, like, it's just honestly just the enemy, like, trying to, keep going down the hill. Like, you're done for. You'll never climb up this mountain again, you know? But in all reality, you have definitely been, you know, that dream come true. So
thank you. I love you.
But yeah, I would say keep trying, keep believing, and be the better person. Sow the seeds that one day will become the fruits that you want.
That's good. And I think everyone has had that thought before, like, people suck. I'm not going to sit here and like pretend that's not me. Like there's definitely times where I'm just like, oh, it seems like everyone sucks. But I think as a whole, like just looking in my past, my life, I don't think I've really taken on that like strong where it's like been a part of me for a long season. Like I usually have a day, I'm like people suck. And I think, would you agree? I feel like I'm pretty, like I like people. I feel like I like people. But I think one thing that helps me that maybe can help someone listening is I always think about how I let people down. And so I feel like it's so easy for me to extend that grace because I'm like, oh, I let this person down and this person down, or like I probably wasn't there for them when they needed me. And so like I just, not that I'd expect people to not be there for me, but it's like, it's going to happen. Like I've done it before and I didn't mean ill will by it. I was just busy in that season, or it was not, I couldn't at that moment or whatever, or I genuinely forgot and I had to work on it. Like I failed, I dropped the point, but I feel like because I know I don't have a bad heart. And so because I know that I failed people and that I don't have ill will, I feel like I think of that. I think of people that like that. Like it's very rare when I'm like, they did it on purpose. Like my default is like, oh, they just couldn't right now at this moment. Like they forgot, or like I tried to think of that. And I think reflecting on how we fall short and need God's grace makes it easier for us to extend that, which makes it easier to build that bridge for people to walk over.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a huge thing of, the verse in Matthew where it's like, before you look at their speck, like let's take a look at our log, because then we can't be friends. It's very difficult when we're just like looking, what do they have? What do they have? And it's like, no, we have it too. We all have it. We're all trying our best here, and it's hard. And so.
Yeah, 100%. The other thing I would say could be a challenge, and the only reason why I'm going to talk about this is because I grew up this way, is if you have parents that were very antisocial, it's going to be hard for you to grow up and know how to have people skills.
Is your mom antisocial? I feel like she's such a good, I mean, when she's here, she's visiting, so it's different. Her like visiting hat is I feel like
the only reason why I say antisocial is because we hardly ever had people over. We hardly went to other places. Like our Christmases would be alone, our Thanksgivings would be alone. Like, and I do remember my parents talking, like they had people skills at work. They had friends, they were friends with the bosses, but as kids, we didn't see that. And so how do we learn what people skills look like?
Yeah.
And that's why I sometimes feel like socially awkward sometimes. And I'm like, how do I deal with this? What do I do in this situation? And so if that's you, I would say, people skills, like we've said, comes from a genuine care for people. And so when you generally care about somebody, you ask them questions, and you ask them questions to hear them, and so that's one thing that I've learned coming from a family like that. I've learned just ask questions.
Yeah.
And that's why, honestly, if you don't know me, you're going to hear a little bit more about me right now. When I go into a conversation, just know that I thought about that conversation at least 5 or 10 minutes before I went into that conversation.
And you have sometimes like a list of questions.
Yes. So that's what I'll do. Like if I'm going to go talk to somebody, I've thought about for about 5 or 10 minutes, like here's the list of questions that I'm going to ask.
Yeah. Like sometimes we're in the car and he's like, what's the plan? And I'm like, what do you mean, what's the plan? Or you're like, what's going to be said? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like I'm going in there winging it. Like we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, like, and that's just because, again, I want the people that I'm in conversation with to know that I genuinely care. And that's one way to show it, is that you ask questions.
Yeah.
And so I will sit there and basically download just questions in my head, just like, okay, I at least have like 3 to 5 questions. And I usually try to pick 3 to 5 questions that will lead to like a bigger conversation, right?
Yeah.
Or allow the person to just go on and go on and on, right? Because I can just listen to this person and pick up like certain things, and I'm just like, oh, okay, like I could talk about this part, or I could talk about this part, like. But I need those questions to be able to like open it up. But people tend to like it when you ask questions about them. people tend to like it.
For sure.
And people, I mean, you're smiling because you love it. Like you can't ask Grace something like, "Hey, tell me about your pregnancy." Oh, she's going off for like an hour or two. You can't ask her about how was your wedding process. An hour or two. Like,
No, you're such an
No,
exaggeration,
no.
but I do get passionate for sure.
yeah. And so people love when you ask questions about them. So if you're like me, a little bit awkward, don't have like, the greatest of people skills. Just think about a couple questions before we go into that conversation.
Yeah.
And again, really care about what they're saying, pick certain things up, and then, just continue the conversation.
Yeah.
My biggest problem, honestly, with people skills is when I have a conversation with somebody who's similar to me that gives very short answers. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be awkward.
You thrive off like opposites.
Yes. I mean, yeah, there's certain people you just ask one question and boom, like they're off to the races,
The reality is, like not everyone's going to click.
Yeah. And then with me, when people try to like the same thing with me, I'm just like, yep, good. Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh, I was pretty cool. It was great. They're like, they have to ask me like follow-up questions to like get it really out of me. And I'm like, oh, like they really want to like know,
But I feel like I've kind of become a little more like that because part of me, I guess that is a little pessimistic. Part of me is like, they're just asking for small talk. So I'm like, oh, it's good. And then I'm like, oh, this is awkward. And maybe I made it awkward because in my head, I'm like, they really don't care or like they don't want to listen. And maybe I should like just be, I guess how you said, like genuine and be authentically me because I feel like, oh, people don't care. And I mean, I feel like you trained me too. You were just like, oh, get to the point. So I feel like I'm becoming short answered. I'm like, no, maybe I should.
You're definitely not becoming short answered.
I feel like I am.
No, there's no way.
Oh my God.
There's no way.
Not with you, maybe, but with others, because I'm like, I have your voice in my head.
Nah, I've been in the area when you're having conversations. There's no way you're giving short answers.
Sure.
But anyways, I believe, again, that the importance of people skills is one of the most important skills that you can have. It will open doors for you. It will allow you to achieve dreams, as it has for me with you. It'll allow you to step into places that you wouldn't have otherwise stepped into. I will say that it is part of God's plan. There are certain people that you need to be in relationship with, that God has called you to be in relationships with, because there is a purpose to it. There's, networking to be done. There's certain things that God's calling you to do, and it will require certain people to be around you, for you to be in relationship with those people, for you to actually love those people and be in community with those people.
Yeah.
And so we just want to encourage you guys to hopefully listen to this episode, to have your own reflection, your own meditation of where you are with these skills, and then maybe even have conversations with friends, family members, and just realize that there is such an importance, and, whether you're prideful or not, whether you want to accept it or not, that we need people.
Yeah.
We need people. God has called us to be in community with people. And again, I reiterate what I said at the beginning. It is the beautiful part of life, and it is one of the most dreadful parts of life, because there are difficult people to deal with.
Yeah.
But with people skills, they become a little bit easier to deal with. And so, I just want to encourage you guys. I don't know if you have any last words, but we just want to encourage you guys to have those people skills, to know that it's going to lead you to open doors. It's going to lead you to what God has called you to. It's going to lead you to God's purpose over your life. And you're going to be able to see God's glory manifest in your life through people skills, because again, you're going to have those moments of like, I never would have thought that I'd be here right now. And you realize it was because of the people that God put in your space, and that you actually were able to connect with them. Yeah.
And one thing I'd like to add is if you are a Christian, if you are a believer, I think people skills is even that much more important, because when people see you And if they know you're a believer, you automatically, like, we are witnesses. We're witnesses of who we believe, of who we're ambassadors of the church, the capital C. And so it's even more important that when they see us, they want to know, why are they like that? That you can not only just point at your people skills, but you can point at the Holy Spirit resides in me. Like, I follow Jesus, and Jesus is like that. And so I'd even say it's super duper important if you're a believer.
Yes, 100%. And some last skills for you guys to take away for these people skills. Smile more. When you're having a conversation with somebody, smile more. Remember people's names. That's very important.
Yeah.
Especially if you're meeting, like, let's say 20 people. Like, I'm going to be honest. I'm throwing myself under the bus, but I'm in a Connect group. Everybody goes around almost every single time saying their names. And I remember maybe like 2 or 3 of them, but it means a lot to people.
Yeah, for sure.
There's something, like, I don't know, very deep in everybody where they go, like, if you remember that my name, that means so much to me. Like, that means I'm important, I'm special, whatever it is. There's something beautiful that happens to a person when they go, oh, you remembered my name. Do not multitask while you're having a conversation with people. That is
hard if you have kids at church and they're like talking to you and you're just like,
oh yeah. I mean, there's things that are acceptable, but I'm talking about being on your phone while you're having a conversation. Sure. Like, that's rude.
Or even having something on your mind. I feel like people can tell when you've kind of like checked out of the conversation. Like, you're there, but you're not there.
I feel like you blame me for that a lot. You're like, oh, you weren't even listening. Huh?
I wasn't talking about you, but if the boot fits.
But yes, don't multitask while you're having a conversation with somebody. That's part of people skills. Them having your attention means a lot to people. Mirror and match their energy. So if they're, oh my God, like, don't try to kill their vibe, try to at least, I take that back. No. Try to match their vibe.
Yeah, try to match their vibe.
I mean, that goes to you too. Remember when I was so excited for the Puerto Rico trip and you couldn't be excited until like day of?
Can you tell we're just like...
and say thank you often. Gratitude means a lot to people. But yeah, to end this episode, we just want to say we are back. We'll be back being consistent, baby. Every single Monday. We'll be better every single day. We'll be better Stronger. One episode at a day. And stay tuned. We love you guys. Goodbye. Bye.